We'll start.
Sure.
Okay? All right, go ahead. All set? All right. Good evening. It's Thursday, January 9th, shortly after 6 p.m. This is the Town of Auburn Board of Health meeting. I will call the meeting to order, and I will also make an announcement that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting, please identify yourself if you are doing so. Seeing and hearing none. We'll now start with, we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody can stand, there's a flag here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so we review the agenda, add and remove any items.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. The minutes, we have 4 sets of minutes. We're actually going to just take off the November minutes and do the 3 that are listed
Okay.
at the beginning. And I don't think there's any other changes.
Okay. I'm going to hold on those until Steve arrives, just so we have a few things. So I'm going to just kind of hold on that for a few minutes. Reorganization of the board, I'd like to hold on that too until Steve arrives. Did you want to, we have a few minutes. We want to start on some of the director's items?
Sure. The animal control, actually, we have the animal control officer here. Amy, do you just want to give just a short update on
Sure.
the dog licensing?
Yep. So we just started a new dog licensing session for this year beginning January 1st. So licensing will go from January 1st through the end of March for people to license on time. We did just send out reminder notices to anybody who did not license as of last year. In those notices, it included what late fees they may owe to the town if it was just 1 year that they missed licensing or if it was multiple years. But licenses have started to come in. A application for the dog license is also attached to the bottom of the annual census that has already been sent out by the town clerk's office. So when people complete their census, they can even just fill it in at the bottom, send in their payment for their dog license back to the town clerk's office, and they can get their license. We do also have our rabies clinic for the spring. We have the date for that clinic. That's going to be Saturday, April 4th. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're still looking at different locations for that. Typically it's held at Town Hall, but we're going to see if maybe there's any other locations that might have an indoor aspect to it for some of the dogs that are typically done outside. They have a van that comes and cats go inside for the exams, but previously dogs were done outside. So we're just checking around to see if we have other options for that, but the date is at least set for April 4th.
Excellent. Thank you. Septic well housing updates at all? Anything?
We have actually several installations that are ongoing due to the weather. People that may have started, and then the weather has not been cooperating. Hopefully with the warm up this weekend, we'll be able to kind of move forward on some others. The housing, we're working on some of the problem properties. We're continuing to contact management companies and work with the AG's office. For tobacco control, you okay if I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Tobacco control, in your packet, we do have a copy of the recent letter that was sent out to tobacco retailers. There's been obviously a lot of changes happening at the legislative level. And most recently, we were notified from the state regarding a federal law that went into immediate effect as of December 20th. The president signed into legislation the minimum age for tobacco sales is now 21. So as you recall, we had a phase-in, a 3-year phase-in for the town of Auburn. So now that actually is no longer. It'll be 21. We have ordered some signage. I think Eileen has a copy of one of the signs that we got in, and we still have some other
This is for the
signs.
flavored tobacco that we'll be putting in all the stores.
So that's one of the signs regarding flavored tobacco, and then we have also some 21, the age signs. So those, you may see those in some of the stores now. There's actually another color sign is when.
Yeah, they actually has the information about those that may have turned 18 by December 30th, 2018. That no longer is in effect. This new regulation
I was gonna ask
overrules
that.
that.
Oh, so the grandfather law took it right out. I thought that was the case. So, okay, interesting, because I was in, so you know the packets that we, in fact, when we had somebody here, that you showed us like those little tobacco demonstrations, you brought those to us,
Yes.
it was like great. So those things are included, right, as not being able to be sold, like at the gas stations and things?
So they have, this notice that we sent out was regarding age and the federal
Okay.
law changing.
Okay.
However, there are separate
Yes.
laws that are at the state level and also at the federal level that are happening regarding flavored tobacco products.
Right.
So those, that's not covered in this.
No.
This is just for the age.
But that eventually will.
It's all being looked at.
Yes.
Obviously, flavors
All of you?
is, flavored, any sort of flavored tobacco products are attractive to children, and that's where a lot of the focus is.
Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to update you on that.
So we have time for probably one more, and then we have the dog hearing, so it's the solid waste.
Sure. Solid waste, as you may recall, solid waste operations are now in our department from the assessor's office, and the Board of Health was sharing duties, and it's now completely in ours. And we recently, in the past month, the billing has gone out. So that was the first time that we've actually done the billing with assistance from the assessor's office, which went very well. So I just wanted to let you know that we are working through, obviously doing it the first time, working through getting the kinks out, but I'm very happy that everything went well, and Eileen spent a lot of time working with our staff to be able to get that completed. And Colleen continues to get education out for new owners, new people signing up on the system, and also the Recycle Smart information. As you may recall, we did a recent mailing for what helps people know what goes in the recycle bin and what doesn't belong in the recycle bin. So,
Excellent. Okay.
thank you.
Great.
Looks like it is now 6:10. We do have a dog hearing for 48 Bryn Ave. I would entertain a motion to open a hearing.
I'd like to open the hearing for agenda here for the dog hearing at 48 Fremont Ave.
And I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
This hearing is now open. So the purpose of this hearing is for the board to hear evidence concerning the dog Jax at 48 Bryn Mawr Ave to be nuisance or dangerous, and to make a determination as to what action it should take, if any, regarding the dog involved. The board will hear from representatives from the town that were involved in investigating the matter. The board will also hear from residents and other witnesses of the town, if any, as well as the dog owner. Will have the opportunity to speak if he or she chooses. The board will then close the hearing, and the decision will be made on what should be done in the case, and will issue any order accordingly. With that being said, I'm now going to place any of the town officials under oath. So those of you who will be testifying in this, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And anyone in the audience who's involved in the dog hearing, have you all signed in? You have. And will any of you be speaking this evening? Or even if you think you'll be speaking, can I have you raise your right hand? Okay. And do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. And for the record, I have 2 people who are wishing to speak tonight. Thank you. All right. Ms. Contois.
Thank you. So this hearing was requested due to an incident involving the dog Jax, a 1.5-year-old neutered male, black to dark gray pit bull terrier type mix, owned by Kayla Cossey of 48 Bryn Mawr Ave. On November 13th, the dog Jax was involved in a dog bite incident in the area of Shore Drive and Forest Drive. So included in your packets, we do have some information regarding that incident. Included is a bite report from that night, a dog license for Jax, a copy of his rabies certificate, several pictures of the wound that the bite victim received due to the incident, several pictures of attempts to make contact with some of the parties involved, and also the report regarding the overall incident. So to give a review of what happened, on Wednesday, November 13th at approximately 6:30 p.m., the Town of Auburn Police Department Dispatch Center was contacted by a resident to report a dog bite incident involving her partner. It was reported that while the victim was walking her leash dog on Shore Drive, a large, dark-colored pit bull/bully breed type dog ran off of the property of 19 Forest Drive. The dog was unrestrained and able to run loose into the road towards the victim and her dog. Subsequently, the resident was bit in the lower left leg by this dog. The victim reported hearing a female's voice yelling "Jack" or "Jax," but the individual did not approach and did not attempt to regain control over the dog. The dog returned to the property of 19 Forest Drive on its own. The victim then reported that she yelled out loud that she had been bitten and that she would be returning to the property. The victim was transported to UMass Hospital by ambulance due to the injuries she sustained during the incident. Officers then visited the property of 19 Forest Drive shortly after the incident, but there was no answer at the door, and the vehicle that had been reported to have been in the driveway when the incident occurred was no longer there. The homeowner that we had on record for 19 Forest Drive is Elizabeth Cossey. The incident was not reported by the dog owner or the keeper of the dog. As the officers were unable to locate the biting dog and were unable to make contact with the resident of 19 Forest Drive, the night it occurred on November 13th, I visited the property the following day on November 14th. I made 2 attempts to make contact with the resident of that property on November 14th and 15th. However, those attempts were unsuccessful and the homeowner did not respond to the notices that were left on the door. Later in the afternoon of November 15th, so 2 days following the bite incident, a tip was called into animal control with the license plate number of a vehicle that was seen on the property of 19 Forest Drive. And this vehicle was identified as belonging to Kayla Cossey of 48 Bryn Mawr Ave. After checking the town's dog licensing records, I did find that a 1.5-year-old neutered male black pit bull named Jax, owned by Kayla Cossey of 48 Bryn Mawr Avenue. Records indicated that Ms. Cossey paid for a dog license online that same day of November 15th, 2019, and Jax had been issued a dog license number of 2019-2173. Based on the information provided in the dog licensing record, I was able to visit the property of 48 Bryn Mawr Avenue. Ms. Cossey was not home at the time, nor was Jax. However, I was able to speak with the property owner, Ronald Cossey, who is Ms. Cossey's father. Mr. Cossey was not aware of a dog bite incident involving Jax and stated that Elizabeth Cossey of 19 Forest Drive is Kayla's mother. It was also identified that Kayla visits her mother with Jax. I issued the paperwork for Jax's quarantine and explained the terms of the quarantine to Mr. Cossey, but also identified that I would be in touch with Kayla regarding the quarantine. I was able to speak with Kayla by phone in the afternoon of November 15th through the contact information listed in Jax's dog licensing record. Kayla identified that on November 13th, her mother, Elizabeth Cossey, was watching Jax at 19 Forest Drive. Kayla was not present at the time of the dog bite incident. As Elizabeth Cossey did not respond to any attempts made by animal control to contact her, cannot be identified how the situation transpired regarding how Jax got loose. However, Kayla Cossey stated that Jax is not typically allowed to be off-leash at the mother's property. Kayla Cossey appeared to be aware that something involving Jax had occurred that night. However, I'm unsure if she was fully aware of the situation and what transpired. I explained to Kayla that Jax's bite resulted in the bite victim requiring approximately 20 stitches. Additionally, Jax was not identified in a timely manner by either Elizabeth or Kayla Cossey as having been involved in this incident, so the bite victim was advised by medical professionals to undergo post-exposure rabies vaccinations. I explained the orders of quarantine to Kayla and requested that she send me a copy of Jax's rabies certificate, which she did send me by email. He was found to be up to date on his rabies vaccination. On November 24th, 2019, I visited the property of 48 Bryn Mawr Avenue to release Jax from quarantine. Throughout this appointment, Jax became increasingly more uncomfortable with my presence and exhibited signs of fear aggression. His body language became stiff, his tail was hanging low and also stiff, and he was audibly growling while standing next to his owner, Kayla. Ms. Cossey stated that he had not had any prior biting incidents and identified that she did not believe he was aggressive to people or other animals. I asked Ms. Cossey if Jax was ever allowed off-leash, and she stated he was only allowed off-leash while in the fenced-in portion of their backyard at 48 Bryn Mawr Ave. Jax was released from quarantine, and I advised the owner that due to the unprovoked nature of the bite incident, that a hearing may be requested regarding Jax. And for additional information, we don't have any previous history of complaints or bite incidents regarding this property or Jax.
Do you folks, the owner and those who were sworn in early, did you want to maybe come up and speak?
Actually, yeah.
And ma'am, can I have you just state your name for the record?
Elizabeth Cossey,
Elizabeth, okay. And you are
Kayla's mother.
Kayla's mother, okay.
Ma'am, you can sit.
So that night, I was going to take him out, and she was walking up the street. She was in the dark, so I didn't even see her. But then all of a sudden, she started screaming that she had a dog. Her dog freaked out, and Jax ran out of my hand before I could leash him. I wasn't even out of my house. And whenever they tussled, she got in between them, and I did chase the dog. So that was pure. But anyway, she never once said to me she got bit. So that, I don't know where that was told to me. And I didn't know that I had to respond to that. And as far as, how do we know that it was my dog that bit her? She was in the middle of two dogs that were tussling. Where is the proof that it's actually, and I've never seen a wound or heard or anything else. I don't even know what this lady looks like.
Okay. Go ahead.
Through the chair, if I could answer some of those.
Please.
So it was identified that night. The description of the dog matched Jax. The person that was bitten did have an idea of the name of the dog, either Jack or Jax. But speaking with other residents in the neighborhood, they did confirm having seen at various points of time a dog matching the description of the dog identified this night as being a match for Jax. And including in the packet, I don't know if you got color copies.
No, not the black and white.
We do have several pictures of the notices that were left on your door on November 14th and November 15th requesting a response.
She said she
Ma'am,
talked to you. Oh, sorry.
So,
Sorry.
it's okay. Everything has to come through the chair. We give her a chance, and then you'll get a chance, and then we'll go back and forth. You will have a time to speak, but thank you for your.
So these,
Go ahead.
these notices were left on the property stating that animal control was trying to get in touch with the resident of the property regarding a dog bite incident left at both the front and the back doors. And when we hadn't been contacted by the second day, a written notice was left on the door stating we needed to be in contact with the homeowner. And on the second day, the notices from the previous day had been removed. So under the assumption that somebody from the property removed them. And these are the color copies of the white.
And, ma'am, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I thought, because you spoke to Kayla, that it was all set. That's all I wanted.
Okay. And just one question for you, ma'am. These pictures that she had, this is your home, 19 Forest Drive?
Yep.
Okay, and this is your doors, and you see that we do have a photo of it, that being there.
Let me see that one.
Just my question was
I don't
that,
remember getting that one, but I definitely remember the green one.
but that is your home?
Yeah, that's my house.
Great. It's okay. 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 Anything further?
Well, I still don't know how it was, just because she was in the middle of two dogs, so how do we know it was my dog that bit her, is what I'm asking. Like,
Through the chair.
Ms. Quinto, sure.
Sure. She didn't identify that it was her dog that was the aggressor in the incident, and it was identified that Jax was the dog that bit. Having nobody else coming forward at that time, giving us any information about the incident or what occurred, and based on the totality of the circumstances, it is believed that Jax was the dog that bit, not the owner's dog.
Okay. Do you have anything further?
I have no idea what else to say, so no.
Did anyone else, in regards to the dog's owner? I know, ma'am, you were also sworn to give testimony here. Do you wish to provide any testimony? No? Okay. Anyone else from the town? Do we have any recommendations as to?
I do have some recommendations. So as the incident that occurred on the 13th was unprovoked and occurred while Jax was loose and unrestrained, and based on the behavior that I noted during the release of the quarantine, it is my recommendation that Jax be deemed dangerous with the following order. That Jax be humanely restrained at all times by handheld leash or lead, provided he not be chained, tethered, or otherwise tied to an inanimate object, including, but not limited to, a tree, post, or building. Number 2, that when removed from the premise of the owner or the premise of a person keeping the dog Jax, he shall be securely and humanely muzzled and restrained with a chain or tether device having a minimum tensile strength of 300 pounds and not exceeding 3 feet in length. And 3, that the owner shall provide proof of training services with a CCPDT, which stands for Certification Council for Professional Dog Trainers, certified dog trainer, a certified behaviorist, or a veterinary behaviorist within 60 days of the order, and that the owner shall provide proof of obtained services in writing to animal control.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Okay. Seconded?
I would like to make.
Seconded. All those in
Oh,
favor?
I'm sorry, aye.
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 Okay. Hearing is now closed, and there will be no further evidence to be discussed by either party.
I would like to make a motion to accept the dog officer's recommendation that Jack be deemed a dangerous dog with the following order. Take place immediately, that Jax will be humanely restrained at all times by a handheld leash or lead, provided that he not be chained, tethered, or otherwise tied to an inanimate object, included but not limited to a tree, post, or building. Number 2, when removed from the premises of the owner or the premises of the person keeping the dog, Jack shall be securely and humanely muzzled and restrained with a chain or tethering device having a minimal tensile strength of 300 pounds and not exceeding 3 feet in length. And number 3, that the owner shall provide proof of training services with a Certification Council for Professional Dog Trainers, or a CCPDT, certified dog trainer, certified behaviorist, or veterinary behaviorist within 60 days of today of the order, or, excuse me, should we do it for when it's typed up, or is the order from today?
The order, yes, the order will be issued.
Okay, from when the order issued. And the order shall provide proof of obtained services in writing to the Animal Control Office. All those in favor?
So, all those in favor of that recommendation? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
And I think we just
I'll
have to
abstain.
have,
He's,
yeah,
yeah,
abstain.
and Steve will abstain from that.
Coming
Okay.
at the end of this.
So that, those are the recommendations are voted in full, and that is that, and the hearing is now closed, the hearing was closed, and that will be that. So, ma'am, will I direct you to work with the animal control officer to just remedy the recommendations as far as that goes, okay? Okay, thank you very much for your time. Right, next on the agenda, we have a hearing for a well variance request, 8 Whitetail Run. I'd entertain a motion to open the hearing.
Make a motion.
So, the motion is moved. Is there a second?
I second.
Second, all those in favor for opening the
Aye.
hearing? Aye. The hearing is open. Mr. Chairman?
So thank you very much. This hearing is for a well variance. And in your package, you do have a well variance letter from the property owner. Property owner is Crescent Builders, Mr. Ali, and he is present. So, let me just, so the property at 8 Whitetail Run, this is a new construction property. This is actually the approved plan for the well, and this is actually the as-built, so this is a little bit easier to see. This is just for demonstration purposes. So in, I believe it was June of last year, we had issued a well permit for 8 Whitetail Run. This property is fairly newer development. We do have new homes being built down there. Some are already occupied. And the property is served by public sewerage and private well. The as-built plan for this property, so we received this plan from Crescent Builders engineer, DC Engineering, and when we got it in, there was a note on it. There appeared to be the setback was not meeting the requirement for a new well. The plan, so what I did is just look at the as-built and compare it to the approved plan, and had questions regarding it, just because obviously on a smaller scale. I reached out to the owner to see if we could have the engineer identify clearly what the setback was. And as you can see, so this is the development, this is Whitetail Run. This is the foundation for the house. This is the sewer pump location, and the sewer pump location is actually going to go out to the main road. The well distance is 17.4 feet to the building foundation, and the town has a well regulation that requires 20 feet. 20 feet for setback from well to a building. So the setback distance for the property line is met, however, and it's met for the distance to the sewer line, however, it's not met for the distance.
Is that 76.3 feet to the sewer line?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. But it's not met for the distance for the well to the foundation. Obviously, with it being close but not being met, we wanted to have that identified. So there was actually another as-built that we received, but it didn't note the exact distance, and where there was a question, the engineer verified it. So typically, we scale off of, the scale. So with that, I spoke with the builder, Mr. Ali, and asked what happened because of the approved plan. The location was identified and met all the setback distances. So you do have in your packets the letter from Mr. Ali from December 18th regarding 8 Whitetail Run, dear Darlene and Board of Health. The purpose of this letter is seeking a variance for setback requirements for a well. There has been an error due to weather conditions and stabilization of the area where the well was going. The well has been moved to 17 feet 4 inches instead of 20 feet. Please consider issuing a variance due to the hardship encountered on the site. My customer is living at their in-laws' house with their 4 children in a 1-bedroom apartment and is desperately seeking to get into their new home in time for the holidays. If you have any questions or concerns, please call our office, the number. So obviously this was received in December before the holidays. Respectfully, Iqbal Ali, President of Crescent Builders. So that is the information before you. I know that there is a prospective buyer for the house, and I had also spoken with the prospective buyer regarding the concerns about what the process was, because we were not able to issue a well certificate of compliance at that point. You may say? Okay. So it looks like they are present. So the well variance is before you. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the director?
I have a question, just curious, like with what kind of weather conditions, I'm not as familiar, like would preclude them from moving it 20 feet, like what?
So
What does that mean?
I don't know the
Okay.
exact weather conditions that the builder is referring to, but obviously, this time of year is not conducive for drilling a well. I can get you the exact date of when the well was drilled. Because I think it was drilled earlier in the year. Was it drilled in July?
Yeah, my name is Ali, and I'm this variance. The reason what happened was, this was the lot on the cul-de-sac, and it's all sand. And we had heavy rains. And what happened was, the rig went inside. I think they were trying to place it and everything. Somehow the stake got moved. Next day, they drilled. And it was an honest mistake. We cannot blame anyone, because we had to get steel plates to stabilize the truck to do it. To stabilize the truck to a drill level, we had to get steel plates because the truck was the ground was soft.
Who oversees the actual, describe for me, like, when you bring a rig to a site and there's, clearly you have a plan, you have a site plan, you know, if there's a 20-foot offset off of how does the drill get 3 feet off of that?
Actually, the system that it works is the surveyor comes and gives us a stake.
Okay.
And we didn't have any off stakes. It would have been helpful if I had an off stake. And the driller went there, okay, this is the well stake. He put his rig on, but there was no off stake. When he started drilling it, he got unstable. And then we had to get the plates and other stuff. we lost the stake. By the time it was stable and everything, it moved 3 feet. It was an honest mistake.
And would that stake have been put at 20 feet initially?
Actually, it was 20 feet or something. It was within a foot or over. It was very close
Okay.
in the original plan.
So would there have been any concern at that time, like if you know it's 20 feet and it's very close and you know that the ground was unsteady and to really maybe take a step back and make sure that we're not going 3 feet off?
It was overlooked.
It was overlooked.
It was an honest mistake.
Mhm.
And this is the first time I'm getting in a situation like 20 feet. I never knew it. The minimum requirement is 20 feet. But in most of the town, it's like 10 feet or less. Some of the towns. But I was not aware of.
What are the town, we're pretty, can you speak to that as far as the 20?
Yeah.
Do we know like where we stand for 20 feet? Is it standard? Is that way too much? Is that too little? Where do we stand?
So, just to let you know, the well completion report we did receive in July, and it appears that the well itself was completed July 12th of 2019. So,
Passed all testing? Or is the
actually,
testing still pending?
no, there's some outstanding items on that, but I believe a well treatment system is in process.
It's been done and we have the results.
Okay,
Alright.
I don't think I'm not sure I have the final paperwork on that, but,
I have.
okay. But as far as the well driller is required to give a well completion report within 30 days of drilling the well. So this well was actually drilled in July. And as far as the setback distances, we do have a well regulation, and the well regulation does identify the setback distances. I think I have a copy in your packet, it's on the second page here. There are other towns, so each town, if they choose to adopt a well regulation, and it's not uncommon. A lot of towns have well regulations. I did look at other towns for setback distances to see how we kind of stacked up, and surrounding towns do have that same setback distance, 20 feet to buildings. I think I have a couple here, and I also, same thing, 20 feet to a building. For Oxford, Westboro, I think Leicester. And then I also looked to see, you know, if that is the case, you know, for ultimately the setback distance is to make sure you're siting the well in an area that is not going to be prone to contamination or issues surrounding it. So you have like the items that they go through, setback distances to septic systems. As I stated, this is not, fortunately, this is not a site that has a septic system, because that, you know, would be our first concern. It is served by public sewer. But we've got, you know, a setback for that. Sewer lines, we meet the setback on that. Driveways, I've seen wells drilled where they'll pave right over it, the wellhead, and, you know, a car is parked in the driveway, or vehicles, they drip oil, they can, you know, potentially introduce oils into a well. Streets or highways, obviously, we treat streets with chemicals for safety, buildings, of course, and then property lines, you know, maintaining a safe distance from a property line. So I think that 20 feet is not unreasonable. I do, you know, I did look at other states, and other states have different setback distances as well. I've seen them less than 20 feet. But again, I think that because we have an existing regulation in place, and because this is a brand-new well, if the minimum requirements are not being met, obviously the board would have to review to see if that's something that we could waive the actual requirements.
In your memory being here or any other place, has this board ever granted a variance for such a request for new construction?
So, in my experience, I'm not sure if this board has granted it. I do recall that, and I can't tell you an exact address, but I do recall working with previous health director, and I think it did occur. I think there was a well at some point that didn't meet the setback.
It was in the cellar.
And
It was in the cellar.
in it, I think the board did recommend drilling a new well. I've only seen it once, and it wasn't with my career here.
Okay.
And again, that was something that the builder drilled a new well.
Board members have any further questions?
How deep is the well?
The well is, the well depth is 500 feet.
Give you the casing depth.
I'm going to, we have the well log and the bedrock. It'll tell you all of the depths.
The as-built, it shows a driveway coming up to the south end of the house, if you want to go straight north and southeast. Is that the actual driveway then?
On the as-built it shows.
Yeah, I'm looking at the original plan, it looked like it came up onto the, but on the as-built, I should say the south end of the house
Right
here?
here, yeah. This is the driveway.
Or is it on the northwest side?
Yeah,
Is it,
yeah,
the driveway is on the front?
yeah.
Is
It goes in the side here.
Oh, it goes into the side?
Yeah,
Is it a garage?
You'd probably want to
In the
look at
house?
the as-built.
yeah.
That's what I was asking, yeah. So there is a garage in the house?
Side entry garage, yeah.
Okay.
On the far end, it's like
On the opposite corner?
74 feet. The whole house is like 74 feet, so
Mm-hmm. Floor drain in the garage?
it's been drained on this side with the dry well here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the wetlands, we put a dry well and send it over here.
There are no other floor drains?
No.
Any other questions?
The Whitehall Run side of the house, all lawn? No impervious surfaces?
From here to here, 74 feet, we don't have any, 75 feet, we don't have any impervious thing.
So it's all lawn and then...
And this is the cul-de-sac.
roadway. Yep.
Anything further? Or do you need a minute or something?
Thank you.
Anything further from the board? Somebody want to entertain a motion? Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Just through the chair. Mr. Ali, when you mentioned the dry well, are you talking about an area for the drainage?
Just the parameter drain.
Okay, okay, but that was identified through your building permit
Yeah.
and has been checked? Okay, yeah, thank you. People have different terms for it, so I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
The foundation was in when the well was dug or after?
No, we cannot put the foundation. First the well goes, then
Wells
the
first, then the foundation. Okay. You can see how close that corner is to the offset.
We don't get a building permit till we get the well.
Do you want to entertain a motion? To make a motion?
Nope. Basically, two options is approve the request for the variance for the 2.5 feet,
Right,
or deny the request, which means they've got to decommission that well and re-drill it.
I know.
So what's going to do more harm to the environment is the big question,
Right,
and where the risk is.
right. This is like someone might realize they don't have no.
So I'll move to approve the requested variance 2.5 feet for the well setback of, where is it? 17 foot 4 inch.
So there is a request, a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion on this motion? No.
My only thought being is
Yeah,
it's all lawn up here.
yeah,
We're greater than 50 feet, which is our offset for the sewer line.
right.
It is public sewer, which is a good
Right.
thing. This is at the gable end of the house, so any roof runoff,
Okay,
I mean, that's just my thinking.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if I had to pick, if you're forcing me to pick, I would agree with the variance too. I just, like I said, I don't want to. Yeah.
And we are at a downslope this way,
Okay.
so that's
Yeah.
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, not having the solar is a huge,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
having public solar.
And
I mean,
I can guesstimate how much a 70-foot casing and a 500-foot well run
See,
as a
yeah.
hardship. So looking primarily at the environmental risk is my first thought. So,
We do well testing, so.
So motion on the floor and seconded. All those in favor for granting the request of the variance signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
All those opposed? I am opposed. Motion carries. Variance is approved. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I will now make a motion to close the hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to close the hearing?
second.
And all those in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing is now closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow up tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Does it have a new goal?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, director's items, you want to finish up on those? Actually, got a good amount done earlier, so. Flu season, anything new?
Oh, yes, great. So the flu season, just wanted to let you know, we have one final clinic that we just confirmed. So we have a flu clinic next Wednesday, January 15th, and that's going to be right here at the town hall in the selectmen's room. And I think we have it, is it 12:30 to 3:30?
It is.
12:30 to 3:30, and we have on a first-come, first-served basis, but our public health nurse will be here. There's been a lot of hype about flu and a lot of people getting sick, so I'm thinking that this might be a well-attended clinic, so.
How many doses do you have left or available?
Yeah, we have a 40-plus, between 40 and 50 doses left. So we're looking to
Yeah.
obviously exhaust our vaccine supply. So I'm happy that we actually have some vaccine left to
Yeah.
be able to do it.
And if
Since-
your turnout's better than your supply, are you any,
I mean, when it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
Sometimes the public health nurse does have some
Right.
extra vaccine, but that's
so
not.
about 40 doses, so
Yes.
anyone that wants it should be here early.
Well, at 12:30.
That's
Yeah.
early, as opposed to the last hour.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. So there's that. The emergency preparedness, I just want to tell you that we have a drill that is going to be scheduled in a couple of weeks, January 21st. We are going to be doing a emergency preparedness drill And Eileen has been in touch with Region 2. This is one of our deliverables, so we'll be doing that as part of a department meeting. So we'll get more information out to you, just so you're aware of it. And then finally, we have the year-end renewals. This is typically the meeting that we let you know whether or not we have all the renewals, and Eileen and Paula and Jordan have been all hands on deck for the past several weeks. There's always a rush right at the end, but I believe we have all the paperwork now. It's being reviewed. We've already sent out some permits, and Paula has, I think there's 2 payments that we're waiting for, but anybody that came in after the renewal expiration, the 31st, have been charged late fees. So that seems to be helping, curb people's behavior. I mean, we always have a couple, but we're definitely less than we have been in previous years. So that's a really good thing. We have the report from the nurse.
Seven.
Everyone says they have the flu.
It's so funny that that's reported as,
Yeah.
that's strange.
From the old days.
Yeah. Okay, anything on inspections at all?
So we'll start a new year, so we'll do the numbers and get you the numbers for last year. So now we start in January all over again to do the 2 per. This year, we, based on the new federal food code, did not permit anyone that had just prepackaged food, chips, soda. If they sell prepackaged and it requires time and temperature control, they still were permitted. It's only retail that prepackaged that does not require. So I think there are 11 establishments we didn't permit, similar to the stores in the mall that sell mints, AutoZone that sells candy bars. Some of the gyms just have bottled water, items like that. So we went down about 11 establishments on that. We have 2 new establishments opening up. Domino's is looking to be open by the end of January.
Oh, yeah. Where's that going again?
They're in the Park and Shop Plaza at the far left if you were
At the
heading
far
west.
Yes.
Down, I think it used to be a Sports and Play or...
Yes. Okay.
So they're looking, they're right at the end of their build out. I think they'd like early than that, but, and then we have Cafe Amore is gonna go into Orange Julius in the mall.
Okay.
They're making kind of transparent transition. One's going out, the other one's going in the next day. So we're working on that right now. We have a couple others that are in the planning board stages to determine if the sites they've picked will work for them. So we don't have anything concrete submitted to us at this time. And I think that's it. Our biggest temporary event, Dance with the Stars, is not going to be held this year.
Oh.
They're going to take a year off. They had the 10th year anniversary last year, so they're hoping to put something else in its place. So we're working with a lot of temporary events. Jordan just did the holiday craft fair. We have the Special Olympics coming up. So even over the winter, we have a large number of temporary events we're working with.
Great. Now moving back up to, we'll do the
Yeah.
approval of the minutes.
Yeah.
We have 3, May 3rd, we'll do the first one, May 13th, 2019. You all have I know I read them earlier in the day. Have no, does anyone have any concerns? No? So I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
May
Second, all
13th.
those in favor?
May 13, 2019, yes,
Aye.
aye.
All right, and all those, and also I'd entertain a motion for September 13th, 2018.
A minute, Steve, to look.
Yeah, I remember this one. I was very involved in it,
Yeah,
a couple
that's
hearings, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
Make a
And I
motion.
did read those today, motion on the table, and a second.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
And then the last one, entertain a motion for October 22nd, 2019.
And I'll abstain.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 22nd, 2019.
And I will second that. All those in favor? Aye. Excellent, so those meetings are off. And the last one is the reorganization of the board. Did we want to reorganize? This is my first kind of go around
Well,
with that.
basically, how we're more than halfway through, I'll nominate you to continue
Yeah,
through the rest of the year.
Okay,
And then, what is it, June 1st or July 1st? of
Yeah, so
fiscal
it's
year?
actually, this is the first time we've all had
Been
a
here
full
since-
board, so this is,
Oh.
that's the reason that that we've waited on it. But yeah, this would go until the end of the fiscal year.
okay.
Just keep the board the same till the end of the fiscal year?
We just want to do like a formal vote, that would be
Okay,
great.
Sure.
is that fine with everyone?
Yeah, that's fine. So I'd entertain a motion to keep the board until, organized as such until we revisit it in July.
I'm sorry, I think.
We got
you-
Yeah, I
individually.
have to,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So I
I
think-
nominated
Yeah,
or
so it's
yeah.
Oh.
moved for,
So don't use the date, it's when you're appointed, which
Oh.
I don't believe that's the fiscal year, I
Oh.
believe it's a little earlier than that. So until next appointment.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
so
Well,
my motion amended to
if-
Eric as the chair until the
Next appointment.
appointment date, which is what,
And-
April or June or July or whatever.
okay.
You second, or
I
you want
second the
to
motion
be
for
chair?
Eric.
All those in
Chair.
favor?
Go aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So vote.
And then we just need a vice chair.
Okay, and then, anyone interested, or, I guess I'd entertain to see if Carol is the vice chair.
I'll second that.
All right.
All right, all those in favor of Carol being the vice chair of the board?
Aye.
Aye.
Until the next,
Fiscal
yeah.
year,
Next fiscal-
excellent, okay.
Next appointment, sure.
That's appointment.
And then I get, we'll correspond via email for the next meeting.
Yep.
It's been working out
Mhm.
well.
Awesome,
Okay.
thank you.
All right,
Yeah. I thought it
thank
was
you.
6:30.
Anyone else have anything else? No? All right, I entertain a motion to close the meeting.
Make a motion to close the meeting
I'll
of today,
second.
January 9th?
And I'll
Motion and
second.
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is closed, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.